Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam namaskrityam naram cheva narottamam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayam hudirayet nashta prayesh vavadrishu nityam bhagavate sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati neshtiki. So, est-ce que quelqu'un a besoin d'une traduction en anglais ou en français? Okay, I think it will be English today. So, it will be better because English. Okay. Ah oui. Quelqu'un... deux Mataji. C'est possible d'avoir une traduction simultanée par une Mataji. Is anyone amongst the Mataji who is speaking both French and English and wants to simultaneously transcribe? Yeah? Okay, that's nice. So the verse today will be the number 15. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And it will be the Canto 8, the chapter 24. And this is the pastime of Matsya with Satyavrata. So I will read the verse. Tam atmano nugrahartam Tam atmano nugrahartam Tam atmano nugrahartam Pritya matsya vapurdaram Pritya matsya vapurdaram Pritya matsya vapurdaram Ajanan rakshanartaya Ajanan rakshanartaya Ajanan rakshanartaya Safaryaha samanodade Safarya samanodade Safarya samanodade. Please, Prabhu.
Tamatmano nugrahatam Pritya matsya vapurdanam
Pritya matsya vapurdaram
Ajanam
Ajanam rakshanartaya
Saparasya samanudade
Samanodade Pritya matsya vapurdaram Ajanam rakshanartaya Safarya mananodade. Any one of the Matajis, mothers? Tamatmano nugrahartam Pritya matsya vapurdaram Ajanan rakshanartaya Safarya samanodade. Okay, word by word. Tam, and to the fish. Atmana, personal. Anugrartam, to show favor. Pritya, very much pleased. Matsyavapudaram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who had assumed the form of a fish. Hajanan, without knowledge of this. Rakshanahartayam, just to give protection. Safarya, of the fish. Saham, the king. Mana, mind. Dade, decided. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swamaraj, Prabhupada. To please himself, King Satyavrata, not knowing that the fish was the Supreme Personality of God, decided with great pleasure to give the fish protection. Purport. Here is an example of giving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even without knowledge. Such service is called Agyata Sukriti. King Satyavrata wanted to show his own mercy, not knowing that the fish was Lord Vishnu. By such a knowing devotional service, one is favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Service rendered to the Supreme Lord, knowingly or unknowingly, never goes in vain. Omagyan Timirandasya Ganangara Sharakaya Shakshunlitam Yena Tasme Shigurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Madhu Bhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutare Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Padam Tikam Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamaram Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Shakamritam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Anchakarpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today I want to make just a little request before I begin. Is that yesterday I've been to commentaries of this chapter and I've discovered many wonderful things. So I've been until 11:30 at night until my head goes dizzy because I was really interested by all what I was discovering. And the thing is, I have one commentary, the one of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, but the one of Jiva Goswami and Sanatan Goswami that Prabhupada used to get when he was translating, we don't have them on internet and we don't have them in the temple also. So I was wondering if any devotees want to contribute. We could have those commentaries here in the temple and we could refer to it when we give a class like this. We will have more things to say and they are bona fide. So if anyone wants to see Lochan, Gandharvika or me and give some Lakshmi in order to get those commentaries in the form of book imported from India, it will cost around 150 euro both of them. And I can give my version, my PDF version of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and like this we will have the main three Gaudiya Vaishnava commentaries of Bhagavatam, and we could enhance our classes and give more in details. So that was one proposition. And this I will try to set up the context first that you can understand where we are, which time we are, what is the circumstances, and basically we are talking about Satyavrata. He's a Raja Rishi. He's also he will be the next Manu. So that verse is from the previous Manu, the sixth one, and so it was something like 300,000 million years ago, really far away, something that we cannot even imagine. And this story is happening in the Satya Yuga. Satya Yuga, where people used to meditate through the process generally of Ashtanga Yoga, which is described in the Gnana Kanda of the Vedas. So this is different. Vishwanath Chakravarti mentioned that Satyavrata was performing those kind of austerities. He was a Brahmavadi in fact. He was more interested into the Brahman, the knowledge of the Brahman, than to serve the Lord really. And that information is really important, because that means the Lord's mercy is even more glorious, because He gave the chance to someone who could go to the Brahman, wait for almost eternity, and come back again to this world. So, by the mercy of Matsyavatar, Siddhartha Muni has received Agyata Sukriti and has avoided this Brahman ascension to come down again. Because it says by Lord Brahma in the 10th canto that Yenye Ravindaksha Vimukta Maninas. Oh my dear Lord with lotus eyes, there is Vimukta Maninas, there is people who think they are liberated themselves by attaining Brahman. But Dvayastabhavad Avishuddha Buddhaya, they have in fact improper intelligence. They are still, even though they are on the platform of Brahman, still impure on the level of intelligence. Why? Because they do not want to render service to you. They don't want to go deeper into relationship with you. So, Hayurya Krishna Param Padam Tata, despite the fact that they think they have attained the supreme, about the supreme position, Patanti Ado Naduta Yushmadangraya, Brahma says they will have to fall down again. And Brahma is also speaking for himself in that way, because he has the topmost position in this universe with Shiva. And of course, he has so much knowledge that is realized on that level of Brahman. So he can think himself already liberated, but in fact, if you don't worship the Lord with bhakti, you have to fall down again. So you may spend huge amount of time there in the Brahman, in the spiritual world, in the Paravyama, and you, as long as you don't render service, as soon as you think that you are liberated, but you don't have your personal, eternal identity, which you used to give service to the Lord with, you have to fall down again. This is explained many times in Srimad Bhagavatam. And here we understand the purport of this mercy given by Matsyavatar. In those times, it says that the Ashtanga Yoga is an ascending process. You using your own strength, mind abilities to elevate yourself to the platform of Brahman, then to the platform of Paramatma, and then by the mercy of the Lord, because you have enough realization, you may have the will to render service to Him, and by the medium of a devotee, you may be able to do so and to get liberated. So it says that, according to the time, I will not say everything that I want to say, but so I will skip what I think. And this is a continuation of the previous story. The previous story of Bali Maharaj. Previous story of Bali Maharaj was also mercy from the Lord on the form of a dwarf. Now, Parikshit is asking, the Lord is taking the form of a beggar, of a dwarf. Why is he also taking sometimes the form of a fish? And interestingly, those two stories are really well connected, because Bali Maharaj was a great king, but he was performing yajna to get something back. He was performing, in fact, karma kanda yajna. And his spiritual master was a Brahmavadi, Shukracharya. And the assembly of Brahmanas there were also Brahmavadis. And here Satyavatra is also, as it says in the chapter, and as it says in commentaries of Acharyas, he is also taught or trained by Atmaramas, or liberated souls on the platform of Brahman. So they are all Brahmavadis. Brahmavadi, I will understand what it is. Brahmavadi is, I understand that the Lord is existing, I understand that he has a form, but what I want is to merge into the Brahman. That's the goal. I'm more interested into the Brahman aspect than the personal aspect. I'm more interested to enjoy the spiritual energy for eternity than to render service. In order to explain what the point that I want to try to explain is that in the chapter 23, verse number 2, Vali Maharaj will say something really important. He will say, what a wonderful effect there is in even attempting to offer respectful obeisances to you. I merely endeavored to offer you obeisances, but nonetheless the attempt was as successful as those of pure devotees. The causeless mercy you have shown to me, a fallen demon, was never achieved even by the demigods or the leaders of the various planets. You have to understand that Bali Maharaj, he was in the assembly of Brahmana. He didn't have the opportunity to pay obeisances because his spiritual master and the demons were against the Supreme Lord. So Bali Maharaj was just paying obeisances in his mind in order to not disturb the assembly of demons. But that was enough sufficient for the Lord to accept it as a complete offering. In material perspective, there is no such a thing happening. When you have to go from one point to another when you travel, you can say only that you have finished your travel when you land or when you arrive to that country or to that place where you want. But between, you cannot say, I am already arrived. It's false. But in Bhakti, even though you are traveling, if you have the intention, the Lord considers complete. You are already there with me. So it's really interesting. That means Bhakti has potency, special potency that material activity does not have. Bhakti, you gain more easily the result than you have when you perform something material. You don't need to achieve completely something in Bhakti. You just need to have the intention. It's already a beginning. So there, in that story of Bali Maharaj, you will understand why I'm speaking of that, is that Bali Maharaj has the intention, the will to serve the Lord, but not the possibility. But what happened in Matsya? He has no will, but he has the possibility to serve the Lord. Because he has Agyata Sukriti. He rendered unconsciously service to the Lord. So he get the opportunity. But he didn't want, in fact. So it's a second aspect of Bhakti shown there in that regard, is that even though you don't want something in Bhakti, someone can force you to grow love by his association or by unconsciously rendering service, hearing the holy name, taking prasadam, and so on, looking at the deities and so on. Even though you don't want, you will be purified against your will. That's the great potency of Bhakti. And in that way, it happens that similarly, the consciousness by bad association against your will be degraded when you are with materialistic, atheistic people. So in that way, it works also materially in that way. But Bhakti, it's eternal, because that love is already dormant in the heart. So that result will be accumulating until like Satyavata Muni, it becomes conscious, and I want to serve the Lord consciously, and I want actually to become a devotee. Because this interesting fact is that this whole story is a story of competition of love. What happens is, we'll just narrate shortly the story. Matsya come in form of a fish, and he jumped into the hand of the king. But the king doesn't know he's the Supreme Personality, so he put again the fish onto the water. The fish is speaking, please help me, those waters are dangerous, take me somewhere. Then he performed by helping the fish, by putting him in a jug, Agyata Sukriti. He's purifying himself. Therefore, the propensity to serve the Lord is increasing also, unknowingly. And after what happens, the Lord says, okay, he can serve me. I can become dependent upon the king, because he's helping me, in fact. And that way, the Lord put himself dependent upon his devotee. So the competition of love begins there. Okay, let's see if he can serve me more. I will ask for a bigger place. So the fish is asking, I want a well, because I'm growing. I cannot stay there anymore. The king find a well, put the fish, put the Lord, Matsyavatar, and fish is growing. And each time the king has to remove the fish from one place to another, there is bigger disposition, there is bigger men involving, because the fish is growing bigger, so it means there is more endeavor. So each time he has to render unknowingly service to the Lord in a bigger way. And he's ready to do so. Why? Because he has been purified against his will, unknowingly. So he's ready to do that. And the Lord is, again, asking more. And because he's more purified, he can do more. And at a point, it becomes conscious. Conscious when the fish is in the lake or the ocean and he asks, no, what to do? But the king is already purified, and actually he knows that the Supreme Lord is there, and I get taste now. I get taste to serve him. So what happens is, because the desire of Satyavrata Muni was, Satyavrata Raja, was to know Brahman, Matsyavatar came to satisfy his desires. The Lord is like that. He came, he satisfied our desire and even more. So we will see next few days, next few weeks, that the prayers of Satyavrata Raj are according to that. The Matsyavatar will impart Sankhya philosophy to the king. He will give him knowledge of difference between spirit and matter, because that's what he wants. He will give him knowledge of the Brahman by showing him devastation, the pralaya it's called, devastation by a flood. So he will come to the point where he will see how the world will be destroyed, and he will experiment the self, the destruction of the material body, by seeing around him how matter is destroyed. And he will experiment the difference between the eternal spirit. And by the mouth of Matsyavatar, Matsyavatar will become his guru and will teach him that knowledge. And what will be the prayers of Satyavrata? It will be, I was following like a blind man false guru. Why? Because Satkarmani Punovipro Mantra Tantra Vecharada Veshnavo Guru Nasya Veshnava Vapachu Guruhu. So the Vedas, they say, you may be a Brahmana, you may know all the Shastra, the Tantra, you may be above the Gunas. But if you are not a Vaishnava, you cannot be a Guru, in fact. But a Vaishnava who is even belonging from an outcast family can become a Guru. So Satyavrata was offering prayers in that regard. I had gurus, I was taught in the process of Ashtanga Yoga to go into the Brahman. But in fact now, I realize that by serving you, there is much more happening there. To serve you is such a beautiful thing. It's not even equivalent at 1,000 1 divided by 1,000 of the bliss of Brahman. To serve you is equivalent that an ocean of nectar. This is what Satyavrata will pray to Matsya. So in this way, this is the story of someone who get devotional service by the mercy of the Lord, and knowingly, and it means that the Lord is ready to help everyone. Everyone against their will and by their will. And he will lead the example. So he will say to the king, my dear king, now I will give you instruction from the heart, and I will also give you instruction externally by teaching you. And not only that, but you have also to serve me, you have to manage, you have to arrange that during this flood you take every species of vegetables, animals and so on, and you put them on the boat. So that means you have to construct a big boat. That's a big service. And he's ready, and he will do that. That Matsya avatar is 8 million miles large or long. So in French, kilometers, we have to multiply roughly by 2, I think. So it's like 1.5. Okay. So it's almost 10 millions, more than 10 millions of kilometers. And you have to have a representation for you is the circumference of the planet Earth is 40,000 kilometers. So it's like few hundreds of time you have to go around the world in order to go from one side to another of Matsya avatar. It's like much more. It's like huge. Matsya avatar has a big horn like a unicorn, and the king will attach Vasuki, the king of the serpent, to the boat in order to go on the water of devastation. Incredible, huh? I mean, it looks like funny and childish stories, but in fact they are true. That's the really wonderful thing. In fact, it's true. And when this story happened, it reminded me, in fact, Bible is like similar with the flood, but there is no fish. The Krishna came into there is a boat, but there is no Matsya avatar. There is no Matsya avatar. There is it? Yes, they are on the boat, but they are not carrying the boat. So the Krishna have taken away Krishna from the picture. In fact.
Yes, but here it's overflowing of water in the whole universe. It's not only the Earth.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a similar story. It's really similar because all the species are in the boat, like here, and there is a flood. Mm-hmm. It's really similar. And I was thinking, in fact, the Christian cannot do that because when they went to Europe, to the German country, to French country, they start to kill the paganism, the worshipper of trees that French and German was doing. Mm-hmm. And they were replacing the trees by church. Mm-hmm. But can you imagine a Christian saying, don't worship this tree anymore, worship a fish? It's not possible. It will be strange, Because even in India, when the English people came, they saw the Indian people worshipping banyan tree, tulasi trees. They say it's like Middle Age. They are 1,500 years ago. Again, they don't move. Those people. They are not. Their spirituality is far away. It's paganism. Mm-hmm. And they tried to convert, so they did many atrocities. But because this knowledge is like from million years ago, it's so deeply rooted in their culture, Indian culture, Vedic culture, that it's really impossible to remove it, even with so much violence. That's why India is the carrier of spirituality. And in time of war, the English people, they admitted that we are Occidental people, we do war and the world could be blown away with nuclear weapon. But if we want to find again unity and peace, we should look upon India. because with their knowledge, with their culture, they respect every living entity and they are non-violent. That's a parallel we can do. And I wanted to present you a verse connected to this story. It's a verse by Prabhu Maharaj. So this verse is like this. Nakamayena tatadapiyam vakshin na yatra sharanam bhuja savaham mata mantaridaya mukha chuto vidadzvan karnayutam shamivaraha. So this verse is simply saying, Nakamayena tatadapiyam vakshin. I have no desire for anything. You can put me in any condition of life, either in even in Eden, even in hell, even as a dog, even as a worm, no matter what, I don't care. Nayatra sharanam bhujasava. As long as I can have the nectar of your lotus feet. As long as there is this, I don't care of everything. And I get this nectar. Mata manta hridaya mukha shutu. Is delivered by the mouth of the devotees. So please, Karnayutam Shamivara, please give me 1,000 ears that I can hear those glories, and I will be satisfied. This is my only desire. So this verse is appropriate here because Prabhu Maharaj is refusing any liberation where there is no service of the lotus feet of the Lord. And in this way, Satyavatra was doing that era. He wanted to experiment Brahman. He wanted to experiment freedom, peacefulness, happiness without serving the Lord eternally. And he could do so because at those times of Satya Yuga, the ascending process of Ashtanga Yoga was possible because people used to live 110,000 years. 100,000 years, sorry. So much time wasted. Matsyavatar came and redirected the bhakti and the propensities of Satyavata. So, if you look at the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's an account to show how superior is bhakti toward the other's process. Even the Bhagavatam begins by the curse of Shringi to Parikshit. And why is it happening? Is it happening because Shringi was a son of a Ashtanga yogi who was meditating on Paramatma. And Ashtanga yogi doesn't used to teach their son that Vaishnava are aloof from Varnashram Dharma. They are superior to that. So the son of that Brahmana, when he saw that the King Parikshit put the snake around the shoulders of his father, he was terribly angry. And he cursed, "You think you are better than Brahmana, but you are only a king. You think you can, your duty is to respect the Brahmanas. But you are our dog. The Brahmanas teach the king, you are our dog, you are our servant. So because of that I curse you, you have to die in 7 days." But a devotee, he knows that Bhakti is superior to Varnashram. Bhakti is superior, the soul is superior to any consideration of king, Brahmana, Brahmachari, Sannyasi, Grihastha, whatever. So a devotee, a son of the devotee, if he will be if there will be good training, he will not fall into that. Like Durvasa Muni, when Maharaj Ambarish was there, Durvasa Muni was also an impersonalist, a Brahmavadi. And he get angry to the king, who was a devotee. And he cursed him. Well, he was ready to make a demon appear and to kill him. But Maharaj Ambarish was peaceful. Again, it was the superiority of bhakti towards the other processes. Because who the devotees take shelter to? From the Lord. And who are the Ashtanga yogi taking shelter to? From either Paramatma, but the Paramatma within themselves. So it's mainly referring to them. Even if they have knowledge that everyone is a soul, they are generally referring to them. So in that way, the whole Bhagavatam is an account of, to show that bhakti has so much superior potency. You don't need even to accomplish totally a thing, you will get the reward. You don't need even to love God. God will love you so much that He will give that love to you, even though you don't want. That's how merciful are the devotees and the Lord, and how merciful is the process of bhakti, how powerful it is. So I think it's time, and thank you for your patience. If you have any question, I can try to answer. Haribol.
You can give the translation of the verse.
Which verse? Again, no? Okay.
The purport.
So, it's to please himself, King Satyavata, not knowing that the fish was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, decided with great pleasure to give the fish protection. So, yes, Agyata Sukriti. Maybe I can just add a thing. The process of Ashtanga Yogi is well behind. Yes?
I'll have a question when you finish.
Okay. The verse is Agatshit Smaranam Vishnor Bhayava Sena Sadyate Ushtas Pandena Matra Kirtanam Tutatovaram. You can meditate on the Lord, like Satyavata was doing, or on the soul, on the Brahman, on the Paramatma. But in fact, this is so much endeavor. And the simple movement of the lips doing the same thing. Therefore, Kirtanam Tutatovaram, this is a way superior way. That's why in Kali Yuga, even though we have 100 years to live, Kirtan, Sankirtan, loud chanting is way more accessible and powerful. But I will finish on that, and just let me 1 second. This is also what is given in the Shastra. Sankirtanam jana sukam vivardate. Janashta sankirtana madhuri sukam. Anyonya samvarda kata nubuyate. Smabista yostad ekam dvayam evatat. This verse is saying, by meditating on the Lord, if you chant, the bliss will increase. And when you chant while meditating, the bliss is also increased. So both are connected. Anyonya samvarda kata nubuyate means they are mutually enhancing each other's. Meditation on the Lord and chanting. Therefore, they should not be differentiated, and they should be considered one process at the same time. Therefore, our kirtan should be also meditation. It should not be, first, it could be only a meditation upon the song, but the song should unfold in many ways. It should unfold upon meditation, upon the deities, upon the devotees, upon our guru, upon the Shastra, because this is also a form of the Vedic sound. So this should also be expanding and not only listening. It goes for one time, but our inspiration, our bhakti growing, we should be able also to deepen our realization of the Mahamantra. Yes, Bhagavati?
Just wanted to ask about the talking fish.
Yes?
In the Ramayana, there's a talking dog. I just wonder, is it that they actually were speaking, or is it that there was some kind of communication more subtle? And do you know?
Of course not. He doesn't. We'll go and find out.
This I will only find when a fish will speak to me. if he's speaking in a fish way, and I can understand, or if he speaks really good French. Otherwise I have to wait. Sorry. That's all. Thank you for your patience. All glories to the Srimad Bhagavatam, all glories to Matsyavata, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki?
Jai.
Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki?
Jai.